Hello, Cubs fans, and welcome to a brand new edition of Cubs on Tap. I am Ron Luce. I am here by myself today. Not literally, at least just on the microphone. In fact, I am joined by the beautiful man right here, Mr. Kyle K. He's off screen. And my buddy James over here, because we're getting ready for opening day. We are checked into our Airbnb. We are dangerously close to Wrigley Field, almost too close. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. But it's going to be an incredible weekend. We're excited to be a part of it, and we're coming quickly to you live here on Thursday night to get everybody ready for the home opener this weekend at Wrigley Field. Scott says, you caught me on a straight bourbon, no dinner night. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, Scott. I'll tell you what. The weekend starts on Thursdays. Hashtag crack 'em on Tap Sportsnet. You guys know the drill. Cheers. Let's get into it. Rich and Joey were live Tuesday night before the Cubs and A's game, and the Cubs came away with a victory. I think the biggest things we take away from that game, Cubs come away with a 7-4 victory, a little tighter of a ball game. Bullpen held up. I think that's a big piece of that entire series in Sacramento that the Cubs can hang their hat on. But I think most importantly, Justin Steele battled. He didn't have his best stuff, 4 earned runs. Maybe it wasn't his greatest outing, but he settled in and gave you 6 2/3 innings of really good baseball. And I'm not going to lie, folks, that's some ace shit right there. That is some ace shit. You love to see it from him. The offense continued to hum. An 18-run performance on Monday night. The guys talked about it on Tuesday. A 7-run performance on Tuesday night, only for the Cubs to turn around and put up another 10 runs on Wednesday on getaway day. Rich called it on our show on Sunday evening. Jameson Taillon rebounded, looked much better than he did down in the desert. 6 innings. He gave up the 2 earned runs on the Brent Rooker homer, but just 4 hits, 3 walks, and 7 punch-outs for Jameson Taillon on the West Coast. He looked really good, and that's going to set up Shota Imanaga on Friday afternoon at Wrigley Field. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a few minutes. But again, this athletic series is exactly what the Cubs needed, right? We talked about it before the season, how difficult this April schedule is for the Cubs. It's some of the best teams in baseball over and over and over again. You get to see the Dodgers, I believe it's twice this month, the Padres twice this month, including for the home opener starting on Friday. It's those series against the teams like the Athletics. Not that they're a bad ball club. This is probably the best version of the A's that we've seen in probably the last 4 years, maybe 5 years. But they took care of business. The bats are hot. This offense cannot be stopped. Kyle Tucker's a machine. Seiya Suzuki had a monster day on Wednesday with 2 home runs. Matt Shaw had a couple of RBIs. The bottom of the lineup is hitting at a clip that I don't think we've seen maybe since this team was a perennial World Series contender. And I'm not putting labels on this team. It's too early, way too early to be doing that right now. But all I'm saying is they're getting up and down production from this entire lineup. Doesn't matter who it is on what day. One day it's PCA. Another day it's Dansby Swanson. Seiya Suzuki and Kyle Tucker are looking like those cornerstones of your lineup. Ian Happ is thriving in the leadoff spot, doing exactly what you need from him up in that role right now. I think the addition of Kyle Tucker really helped this lineup settle in exactly where they needed to be. It felt like everybody was like one spot off or like they could be a prime producer. Now you get Kyle Tucker in there. He can hit 2, he can hit 3, depends on the day where you want to bat him. But Seiya Suzuki has protection when he's hitting behind him. Then in addition to that, you have Ian Happ at the top. You've got Dansby Swanson hitting lower in the lineup this year. I think that's only going to help him. Nico Horner is lower in the lineup. PCA, Matt Shaw, the list goes on, right? This team is deep. They've got exactly what they need. Michael Busch has had a really good start to the season. Justin Turner has looked good in the limited amount of action that we've seen him so far. Things are humming. I know a lot of people might poo-poo the Cubs are 5-4. Well, if you take away that abnormal Tokyo series, they're 5-2 since they've returned stateside. That's pretty freaking good. And you could argue they should be 6-1 if you take away that Diamondbacks game where they blew the lead in the 8th inning. That just shows how this team is going right now. Scott with a couple of really great comments here in the comment section saying Cubs leading the league in runs wasn't on my Major League Baseball bingo card. It wasn't on mine either, Scott, but 60 runs through 9 games now. That's still pretty cool. We'll take that, especially when there was a low scoring Tokyo series. If you take away that Tokyo series, they still have 53 runs or something like that in 7 games. I mean, that's pretty spectacular when it's all said and done. He also says the Cubs have 2 all-star catchers. Let's talk about that really quick. Miguel Amaya is off to a hot start this year. Hot start, Kyle. Very hot start. He's looked good. In addition to that, Carson Kelly, the first Cub to hit for the cycle since Mark Grace in 1993. Not to make anybody feel old out there. Not to make anybody that listens to our show think otherwise about us. I just turned 30 last week. Literally a week ago today, I turned 30 years old. I was not alive the last time a Cubs player hit for the cycle. 1993? Were you alive in 1993? He wasn't either. Nor was that guy over there that I'm sitting with right now. None of us were alive. It has been 32 years since a Cubs player hit for the cycle. How crazy is that? And of all people to do it, it's Carson Kelly. And he makes my dinger pick look really good because I picked him as my dinger pick for that game of just like, I'm going to go off the wall. I need to try something new. Last year, it took me till the end of April to get a point for our dinger pick standings. Not this year. Carson Kelly, baby. Carson Kelly taking care of business. Yeah, hey, mate. We love to see what the Cubs are already doing. And then Scott with a little bit of a farm update for us here, too. He says, help is coming to Cade Horton's line in his season debut. 3 1/3, 1 hit, no runs, 4 walks, which he's a big strikeout guy. That's going to happen. 6 Ks, though, and 3 1/3 is pretty spectacular. That's what, 6 of the 7 guy, or no, that's bad math. 6 of the 10 guys that he faced, then got outs, were strikeouts. Yeah, you'll take that. You'll absolutely take that. Good stuff from Cade Horton early on. I'll tell you what, folks, I am cautiously optimistic about this team, right? Because they were in Arizona, a neutral climate at this time of the year. They go to Sacramento. I know it's Northern California, but it looks still pretty nice out there over the last 3 days before today. It's going to be cold. Rain's going to move through. Wrigley is going to play like Wrigley does in April. We've seen this team hit with the long ball. We've also seen them hit with doubles and singles, right? Like it's not just the long ball that is propelling this Cubs team right now to success. But I think what's important to remember is let's see how this Padres series go, because this is a tough Padres team coming into town as well. We're not going to see Cease, which is nice. Very nice. We're not going to see that guy. That's helpful. But on top of that, they're still a good ball club. They just gave Jackson Merrill a bunch of money, which is huge news. Well earned. Yes, indeed. Well earned. A lot going on in Major League Baseball with extensions. Ketel Marte got paid by the Diamondbacks. Christian Campbell got paid by the Red Sox. Makes you think if the Cubs are going to do anything of that sort. Are they going to pay anybody ahead of time? Man. Are they going to pay Carl Tucker? Probably not. That guy's going to free agency. If he has it his way, that guy's going to free agency. But do you get ahead of a guy like a PCA or a Matt Shaw on like a Christian Campbell contract where it's $60 million guaranteed dollars over 8 years? Maybe. It's going to be interesting to see. Friend of the program, Mr. Cole Wright, in the comment section saying, it was chilly in Sacramento. Base Knox is all we need. Station to station baseball against San Diego. Ain't that the truth? And that's the thing, right? That's the thing about this team. It's not just the long ball. PCA hitting doubles. Matt Shaw hitting bloop singles for runs. Guys are taking walks. And I'll tell you what, I think the most encouraging thing about that series in Sacramento was how they stole bases. Nico Horner taking off for second, then taking third when Shaw walks, right? Those are huge plays. PCA getting hit by a pitch, takes second, and then all of a sudden he's in scoring position for a bloop single from Matt Shaw. I think more than ever before, at least in my recent memory, of we'll call it, I guess, this post-core Cubs team, right? That post-golden era Cubs team of that World Series core. This is probably the best team in terms of getting yourself into scoring position to be available to score runs. Maybe in the last 20 years, arguably. I don't think even those teams had the same level of speed that this current Cubs team does. Nico Horner is a 30-plus stolen base potential guy. PCA is in the same ballpark as well. Even Matt Shaw can steal probably 20 plus bags. Kyle Tucker can run. Ian Happ has shown he can run. Dansby Swanson can run. Majority of this lineup can at least give you 10 to 15 stolen bags, if not more. I think if they can continue to run, that's going to be a huge recipe for success for them, especially when it's cold, just as Cole says here in the comments. And it's going to be a chilly weekend at Wrigley Field. I don't care. I'm ready for it. I got my Murphy's Bleachers, nice warm hoodie on that's going to be tucked under. I got my Sicko jerseys. I will announce those toward the end of the show, who the Sicko jerseys are that I brought for this weekend. I'm very excited about them, by the way. Very, very excited. A couple more comments here from Scott as well. He says, not even mad at Shaw trying second base on his single. Not either. I like the aggressive base running from this team. To me, it makes it fun. Baseball is more fun, I think, when guys are taking risks and being a little more dangerous on the base paths. And honestly, he's got the speed to try to do it. You know, I think it's tough when you got a guy like PCA running and all the outfielders very clearly know they're not going to throw him out at home. So it's like, pull up. And if you see him going for 2, try to get him out at 2. But in the same breath, you got to be happy about that. And Scott says here, if PCA is a Madden 100 on speed, Shaw's a 93. Yeah, I don't know if he's a 93, but maybe a 90, 89. He's up there. I mean, he's still got good speed. He again, this whole Cubs team has really good speed, more than maybe ever before. Like, even your guys that hit for power can run. And I think that's going to be so important for this team. In my opinion, I'm going to get really far ahead of myself for a second, and I'm going to quickly reel that motherfucker back in. That's what helps you win games in October. Mm-hmm. And if this team can get there, that's going to be a huge, huge weapon for them when it's all said and done. Now I'm going to reel myself back in because I'm not worried about October right now. I'm worried about April because we got a lot of April baseball ahead of us. It's only April 3rd. Cubs only play 2 games in the month of April. They're going to play a trio more this coming weekend. I am by myself. It's a little bit of a harder show. I don't have a lot of deep stuff to go into, but I'll tell you what, we're gonna start getting everybody primed for the weekend. But quickly before we get to that, Hank with a great comment here as well, and he's 100% correct when he says this. Speed puts pressure on defenses and forces errors. 100%. 100%. When you can get teams to have to rush plays and get out of their mechanics in terms of how they're taught to field the ball and get them uncomfortable. Uncomfortability in baseball helps you win games. And speed on the base paths will certainly do that to a defense and keep guys uncomfortable. I don't know about everybody that's tuning into this show right now. I know the two that I'm currently sharing a residence with here feel this way. We're very excited for this weekend. Very, very excited. This is the 4th Cubs home opener now where Cubs on Tap plus friends have ventured down to Wrigleyville or the neighboring areas and partaken in, we'll call it extracurricular activities around the ballpark. We'll put it that way. We'll put it lightly. But it's going to be awesome. We're going to be joined tomorrow by Mr. Joey Ricotta and a good friend of ours, Mr. Dom. We have Tyler coming in at some point this evening. The rain in Nashville is trying to ruin his Thursday night. His flight keeps getting pushed back later and later and later. We might see him come Friday morning. It might be 1 a.m., but it might be Friday morning. But they're going to be joining us as well. We're hoping Juice is able to make it out. It's his intention and hope. We got a bunch of other good friends of the program coming down in the morning as well to help be a part of the weekend. Man, it's going to be fun. Like, this is, I'll tell you what. I have a very love-hate relationship sometimes with baseball because it's a long sport. And you guys all see me on the microphone. I do this a lot. But there is something about that week, especially that day, especially when it's ours. I mean, we are less than 14 hours away from Murphy's Bleachers tomorrow morning. We're there. We are there, folks. Home opener, Wrigley Field baseball is back in the city of Chicago. And it's hard not to get excited. I'm not going to sleep tonight. I know it. I didn't last year. I didn't the year before. I'm usually up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. I sit there. I'm starting to think already about, what's going to happen. Who are we going to see? What big play is going to be made? I hope everybody's enjoying. I don't know if you guys can hear it on my microphone, but the ambiance of the train rolling by as well. That's when you know we are staying at a place right next to the red line. It's pretty fantastic. Pretty fantastic. I'll tell you what, everybody. We already took a walk down. We got to have a little dinner and a beer at Murphy's Bleachers this evening. You can already feel the energy around the ballpark. And like around the ballpark is moderately quiet right now. But there's this weird like buzz in the air. It happens. Yeah, it really does. It has that nightmare, like not nightmare. I hope it's not a nightmare. It's got that night before Christmas energy. And this city is just ready to explode. And I'll tell you what, as a sports fan, as a Chicago sports fan, as somebody who is on the microphone here for multiple teams as a part of On Tap Sports Network, this team is dying for a winner in any capacity. Just a team that's a true playoff contender, a team that people can get excited about. And when it's one of the two baseball teams in Chicago, especially the Cubs, there's a different buzz because from assuming neither one of the winter sports make the postseason in the Bulls and the Blackhawks, and football, regular season football does not start until effectively September. From the middle to end of April until September, there is only two teams and one sport on the center stage for Chicago sports. And it's the Cubs, and it's that other team that shares the same residence. But if this Cubs team can keep a fraction of what they did in that athletic series, a fraction of what they did, I think they did a lot of good things in the Diamondback series outside of a couple of bullpen meltdowns. If they can keep that energy rolling throughout the summer, Wrigleyville is going to be bopping at a level that we haven't seen in quite a few years. And Wrigley always bops. Everybody knows that. Everybody that walks around Wrigley, you know, Cole Wright, who's there on a daily basis at the Marquee Sports Network studios, you feel that buzz on a day-to-day basis. Even when this team isn't good or when they're hovering around 500, this team should be a lot better than 500 this year. And they're playing like it. There is going to be a buzz in the air that is hopefully unmatched this summer in the city of Chicago. And it all starts tomorrow. The first game at Wrigley Field against the Padres. And it's going to be an absolute thing of beauty. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited, truly, to keep this show shorter because I feel like it's going to tease people more about what's to come tomorrow. Just like hey, here's your subtle reminder that Wrigley Field baseball returns. And it's going to be pretty awesome. A couple more comments here. Scott says over under in the first 60 games. He sits it at 34.5 wins. I would be ecstatic if they are over that number, even if it's only by a couple games, 35, 36. Ecstatic. Absolutely ecstatic when it's all said and done. Yeah, I mean, even this team winning 33 out of the first 60. 34 even, if you said it right around that mark. I think that's a beautiful number, and that makes things hum. Jay says here in the comments, the other Chicago team is employed. They employed Hawk Harrelson. Yes, they did, and I shake my head and I giggle just as much as you do, Jay, about that one. It's something special over on the south side. Let me tell you. I don't know. Speaking of, we're gonna take shots. Why not? I don't care. I don't. If anybody has seen the new City Connect jerseys, reported City Connect jerseys that leaked for the White Sox, because they were one of, I believe, 4 teams to be getting new ones. It looks like Jerry wants his upbeat Chicago Bulls right now, which you can check out more over at Bulls on Tap right here on Tap Sportsnet. He wants them on the baseball field because that jersey looks a lot like a Chicago Bulls jersey, man. It is borderline embarrassing. I like where they're going. I understand the history of the team and the red, and I understand what that means to the history of that organization. Truly, I do. But it looks like a Bulls jersey, and it's really funny. And I can't get over it. And I'm going to enjoy it because they have black sleeves too. So you can make the argument that black is the absence of color. And it's just a red sleeveless. So it's a Bulls jersey. That's what it is, with a weird random logo on it. It's awesome. It's absolutely hysterical. Scott says here, if the White Sox move to Arlington Heights, do they lose the South Side? I think they've already lost the South Side, Scott, if I'm being brutally honest, but they would definitely lose the South Side. I hope they don't move to Arlington Heights. Let them stay in that dumpster fire of a stadium. They're not even guaranteed rate anymore. We can't even call it the G spot anymore. It's just Rate Field. You want to go to the Rate? Awful. Anyway, we'll stop shitting on the White Sox. Our friends over at Sox on Tap do that enough as it is. Let's look ahead. Let's look ahead to this upcoming weekend and get everybody prepared for what's to come at Wrigley Field over the next 3 days. On Friday, April 4th, it is one of the most undefeated, sensational, beautiful start times of any event in modern human history. At Friday, 1:20, Chicago Cubs start at Wrigley Field. Like, I've got a slight shiver down my back from just saying those words.
Oh, yeah.
But the 5-4 Cubs take on the 7-0 San Diego Padres. It'll be Vasquez on the mound for the Dads. It'll be your boy Shota Imanaga on the mound for the Cubbies. Obviously had a really, really strong outing. His last time out against the Diamondbacks, 7 beautiful innings of quality start baseball, which led to a win for the good guys. Things you always love to see. Hopefully he can replicate last year's home opener performance, where he was also spectacular against a very good Padres lineup on Friday. On Saturday, we will see the new addition to the rotation for the Padres. Nick Pivetta gets the ball for the Dads, but Matthew Boyd, the other new addition to the team for the Cubs, will throw on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it will be Hart versus Ben Brown in the series finale. All of these games are 1:20 starts at beautiful Wrigley Field. On Friday, very excited. I hope the Cubs can take 2 of 3. I think they have the ability to take 2 of 3. I'm not concerned about their ability to do so. Rather, it's just a matter of timely hitting. And if the wind's blowing in, I think that benefits Shota. Station to station baseball. Just like Cole Wright said in the comments. Get on, get over, get in. I don't care how you do it. It doesn't have to be pretty. You just got to get it done. I'm hoping for 2 of 3, and that's going to be my prediction. I think the Cubs truly have what it takes to put two L's in the loss column for the Padres and send the Padres out of here at best case scenario, hopefully 8-2 after their 7-0 start. The red line horn is exactly my timer to let you guys know before we get out of here that Cubs on Tap is one of 2 official shows covering the Chicago Cubs right here at the On Tap Sports Network. Go ahead and check out our friends over at the Dingers Podcast. They are at Dinger Cubs on the socials. They were live on Monday night. They will be live every Monday night throughout the course of the season. A beautiful way for 3 days of Cubs coverage from On Tap Sportsnet. We will continue our habitual sequence of Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday shows over the course of the season. Be sure to follow us as well at Cubbies on Tap on the socials. I am at Loose on Tap. You know the drill. Follow all the other boys as well. You can find all their handles over in the podcast descriptions, as well as eventually on the Twitter, because that does need to be updated for our new friends, Bobby Foster and Mr. Rich Eberwine. Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks. You know where to find all of that here at On Tap Sportsnet. And of course, Cubs fans, you got friends that like the Southsiders. So do we. Send your friends to our friends. They can all be friends over at Sox on Tap. Once again, ontapsportsnet.com, at ontapsportsnet, on the socials, the On Tap Sports Network. Go and check out what's on tap in Chicago sports. Baseball's back at Wrigley tomorrow, and it's going to be a thing of beauty. Cubs on Tap will be in attendance for the first 2 games of the weekend, and we look forward to catching up with all of you guys on Sunday night, talking about this first home series at Wrigley Field in 2025. I am Ron Luce. We wish all of you very, very well. FTC as always. For sake of this weekend, FTP as well. And let's go Cubbies.